Now let's perform CRUD operations using React, Node.js and WebSockets. But first of all, let's understand what is CRUD. So CRUD basically means create, read, update and delete that we perform on web applications. So first of all, let's create a React app here. So make a folder called client that I already have. Let me navigate into that folder and do npm create vite@latest. We need to have it in the folder. So just do React JavaScript. Now npm I or install, and let me also open socket.io documentation client installation. This we need to install in our client. So install it. So basically we will be using no database, just an empty variable here. We can say, let's say data, which will be an array, or we can make this as CRUD. Let's start the app npm run dev. It has been started. Let me open client source, clear all the things from app. So we don't need these things. I mean, we don't need this div and this div, this card div. So let me rename this to CRUD Operations. Save it. Let me remove these two things as well. Fine. Now we have this on the screen, CRUD Operations. So CRUD means, as I said, it means creating data, reading it, updating it and deleting it from the database, or from some, yes, from some database. But we don't have a database here. We have a simple variable called CRUD data. So we will be using this to store our data. No database we will use. So what we need to do is now create an input field here, or multiple input fields. So I can say input. Let's make this as placeholder. Enter your name. Save. We will have an input. Enter your name. Give a class name on the input. For some styling, say input field. So let me copy this input field. Come to app.css. Let's write something here which will be height 1 rem or 1.5 rem. What about this? Yes. Then padding left 0.5 rem. Fine. Let's give a width of 10 vh. Sorry, 10 rem. 10 rem. We have entered your name. Let's also make multiple fields like age. Enter your age. But we need to have them in different lines, so I can just trap it in a div and give the div a class name of, let's say, what can we say, form. Let me copy form fields. Come to app.css and do form fields, display flex reduction column. Let's center it, align item center, give a gap between them, gap 1 rem. Now we have entered your name and age. So we have two input fields. We can add third one. Let's say enter your, what can we say, enter your age, enter your phone number. Fine, we have three fields: name, age and phone number. Okay, so we will use these three fields to send data from the UI to the server. So how to do that? First, let me have a form handler called, let's say, handle input. Let's hook it up on these three input fields on change handle input. Let's also pass a prop called name on the input. So this will be a name prop because it's a name input field. This is an age input field. This is the phone number input field. So name, let's say just phone. This will take an event. Now we need to destructure the name and value from the event.target in this handle input. Now we need to make an object to store the key value pairs as an object. So first the name and its value. Now if you type, let's say if you type name Nishant, the name will be the name because it's a name input field, and the value will be Nishant, like an object. So let me create one state here. Input or form inputs. Set form inputs equals to use state empty array. No, empty. Let's make it as an empty object. Now set form inputs will take the previous input as well that it had, and it will destructure the previous and add the new one, this object. Now we need to have a button as well, so make a button and give this the name of add data. Save. Let's make a function const handle submit. Now let's use handle submit on click handle submit on this on click event on add data button. We can console this form inputs in the handle submit function. So when we click the button of add data, we should see the data in the console. So let's check. Name Nishant, age 50, phone number 105. Click add data. We have object. Okay, I think this should be destructured as well. Sorry. Now click add data again. Let's refresh first. Name Nishant, age 50, phone number 105. Now we will get all the input fields like name Nishant, age 50, and phone number this. So let's send it to backend. I'm in the server, and it will be stored inside the CRUD data. But first, let's configure socket.io. So first import io from socket.io client. Now let's create an instance of the client. So const socket equals to io, and then we will use this server address, which is localhost 3000. We need to start server as well, but yes, so just go into server folder, cd server, do node server.js. It is running now. Now we are using socket here as our instance. Now we can just do socket.emit. So let's say data and then just send form inputs here. Save. Now this data will be sent to the backend server here. Now we have to store this inside the CRUD data. So if I do socket.on to listen to the changes that we are sending from front end or the client, we can just do this key name called data. We are sending the data form inputs using emit function with the key of data. So we will receive it here as well with the same key name. And to check the data, we can say data and clg data, which will be in the console, in the terminal, in the server. So let's check. Let me refresh once and enter the name Nishant, age say 86, phone number 999. Click add data, and we don't see anything here. I think we need to start it again. Now let's check again. Name Nishant, age 86, phone number 100. Click add data, and here it is. We are seeing the data in real time in the console. This data. Now all we need to do is push this data in the CRUD data array. So push data. Now we can console the CRUD data, which will be an array. So we can do it here as well. CRUD data. But will it be okay? Let's check. Let us start the server. It is empty initially. Now what we need to do is just refresh Nishant 86 900. Click add data. Okay, we don't see anything here because I think we're consoling it at the wrong place. So we can do it in here as well. So clear, start, refresh, name Nishant 80 999. Add data, and we have the data in the array. Let's try for one more called Uday. Let's say 90 and 9999. Click add data, and now we have another field called Uday here in this array. So we have done this create part. So let's make this as done. Fine. The second one is called read. This read, it means reading data and displaying this on the UI. So we can just do it somewhere here after the form fields. But first we need to send the data back to the front end, this CRUD data, this array. To do that, we need to do socket.emit, say CRUD data and CRUD data to simply send it. Now to get it, first let's make an array const CRUD data set CRUD data equals to use state and array. So we have CRUD data here, which is an array. Now we need to get the data when we submit our form directly, which is inside the handle submit function. So we can say socket dot on set CRUD data, not set CRUD data, just CRUD data, and CRUD data, let's say CLG CRUD. Okay, let me make this as data, or maybe even response will work. Anything will work, any variable name. So if I now check the inspect, refresh, let's add the name. I think we started again the server here. It is running. Refresh, let's add name, age 100, phone number 999. Add data. Now we're getting an array of object which contains our name, age, and phone number. Correct. So we're getting the data. Now just set it in the set CRUD data, and we need to map through it here. So after the input fields and the button, but the thing is we are seeing nothing here. That is because we only set the data when we submit the form. Now to get data periodically at some interval, we can just set that interval. Set interval with 1000 milliseconds or 1 second of interval, and then just emit the CRUD data on every 1 second. Save. Let's see the console, and we can just do a console log here. And one thing we also need to do here is just do a use effect hook here and simply cache the data coming from the server. So set response. Now refresh. So let's try again. Name Nishant, age 80, 7979. Click add data, and we get the data here. So let's make this as an H2, not H1. Now it's perfect. Similarly, let's add for what is the second data. It was like age, and one more called data dot. We have name, age, and phone number. So it was phone. Save. So we will get all the three data. So let's make a table. So just like before, let me grab a table. Grab this table from W3 schools. So we need to have this table again. Let's paste the table here and save it. Then wrap the entire table contents in tbody because it's outdated. This documentation on W3 schools. Save. Now we need to have the styling, tdtr table and such. Just add that we have a table here like this. Now in this table, let's name this as name, age, phone number. Save this. We have name, age, and phone number. Now we don't need to have all these TRs. We can only have one TR and map it. So just copy CRUD data, remove this div, come over here, paste it, copy the TR, and simply paste it here so that it repeats itself. So now we need to just do data dot name. This should be data dot age. This should be data dot phone. Save. Now we'll have three input fields here, but we also want to give a margin. So I can just say style, just margin top 1 rem. This should be a string. Yeah. So we have the table here with the data. Now we also need to clear the input fields when we submit. So I can just do set CRUD data to empty object. Sorry, not set CRUD data. Set form inputs like this. Now this will not work unless we give a value in them. So value should be, what is the name? Form inputs dot name and such. So this should be form inputs dot name. One sec. Dot name. This should be age. This should be phone. Now refresh it. And one thing you will notice is we will not get the data unless we submit the form. So what we need to do is just call this in a use effect hook. So use effect which will run on mount, and it will just do socket.on CRUD data and this response. Now we'll get the data here on every 1 second. So if even if I refresh, the data will be here. Let's try for another one called Uday. Age 90, phone number something. Click add data. We have Uday, but the data is not getting disappeared from here. So I guess we need to do it. Name as empty, age as empty, and phone as empty. Now refresh. Let's type Uday. No, not Uday. What should we type? Let's say Raju. Age 90, phone number 77 something. Click add data. Now we have done the second one called read operation. So let me mark it as this. Now that we have added how to add data and read them, let's work on edit and delete functionality. So first of all, what we will do is let's make a function, const get edit data. So once we click this button that we have added, edit and delete button, once we click edit button, we should get the data that we are on. For example, let me explain again. Just first pass the data here. So let's say that we clicked edit on this Nishant field. This data should go to the function, let's add data, and set it inside this form input. So I can say set form inputs data like this. Save. We can try, click edit, and the data is here. Now let's make a state here called is edit set is edit. It will be false initially, a boolean value. So once we click this button here at the bottom, edit button, this text add data should change to edit data. So we can do set edit as true like this. So set edit is true for now, and now let's handle the conditional logic here. So if is edit is true, we will show edit, else we will show add. Simple data. So click edit and it is now edit data. Now we have to do same thing on this on click event as well, but let's create one function here. Const let's say handle edit. One sec. No, yeah, it's fine. Handle edit, and once we click the button, we should send the edited data to the server. First, let me have this here. Where's the on click event? On add here. If is edit is true, we need to trigger handle edit, else handle submit. Now let's come to handle edit function, and let's console this form inputs. So I can say CLG form inputs. Open the console. If I refresh, let's click edit on Nishant. Let's make the age to 30. Click edit data, and now you will see the edited data here. And we have ID as well that we need to add data, and we also have ID that I have added here using a library called UUID-v4 from UUID. Basically, it generates a unique ID for us, which is a number basically like this. So we will use this ID to edit the data. So we have the form inputs on handle edit. Let's send it to the backend. So to send it to the backend, we can just do socket.on edit data and then do form inputs. Now let's come to server, and here on the connection we can do socket.on edit data, this event key, and we can simply console the response. So if I do response, CLG response, we need to restart the server again for this to work. So open server, restart. So if I refresh this, initially we have no data. Let's add age and okay, fine. Let's now click edit and add the phone number. Click edit data, and it is inside online number 4. Okay, we don't see it here. Okay, the thing is we need to make emit here, not on, sorry. So that data is emitted from the front end to the back end. Click edit data, and now it is here. The name, age, ID and phone number. So in this function, let's edit it. First of all, we need to find the index where we want to set this object in the array, which is a CRUD data array. So we can just do let current index equals to CRUD data dot find index. This method find index will be used to find the index of the current element using the id. So let's say data dot id, if it is equal to response dot id. We have id in the response and we have an id in the CRUD data for this current index. We have the current index. Let's check. If current index is not equals to -1, it means the index is valid, and all we need to do is set it inside. So I can do CRUD data current index equals to, let's use this object which is a response, and we also need to pass the previous data. So I can say CRUD data and current index. Let's add a comma and also destructure this. So we're setting the previous data with the new data in this CRUD data array. So if I just clear the console, restart the server once more, let's see what we have when we edit something. So add the name, age, phone number, add data. So data is here. Let's edit it. Let's make the age to 90. Click edit data and see the age has been changed to 90 and in the console as well. Now let's try to add something else, like make this number as 5 to 1 instead of 5 to 0. Edit data and it has been changed. So one more thing we can do is in the handle edit function, once we submit, we need to set this data back to false. Like we need to set is edit to false so that the button that we are having is changed to add data again. So make this as false, and let me remove this console log. And last thing here, set form inputs like this here. Save. Now let's change it again. Refresh. Click edit on Nishant. No, sorry, they should not be here. They should be here. Where should I add this? Yeah, here on handle edit. Now click edit, change it back to 5 to 0. Click edit data and it has been changed. In the form, the data is gone. We have no data populated here anymore. Now let's work on delete one. So to delete, our operation is similar. Let's make a function const handle delete. This will take one id only, nothing else we need to pass. So we can just do on click handle delete as we pass the current id of this object that we're clicking. So pass the id like data.id. Let's save it. Come to server. Let's make one for delete. Socket.on delete data, and let's say we have a id response. Now just like this, we need to find the index of the current item we're clicking on using the current id, but here we won't have to use response.id, just use id like this because we are getting only the id. Now if current index, let's add if current index not equals to -1, we just need to do CRUD data dot splice. Let's add current index comma 1 because we want to remove one element from that. So okay, here we are having handle delete, which is this. Now we have to pass this I to the server. So what we can do is socket.emit delete data, so this event key, and simply pass the id, and that's all. We can try this, but first it needs a restart, so do it. It is running. Let's try it out. Say age, name, age and phone number. Let me add one more Uday. Age, phone number, add. Delete, let's say Uday, deleted. Let's add one more called Raju, age 90, phone number, some random phone number. Let's try add. Let's delete Nishant, and it has gone. So that's how it works, the delete functionality as well. So now we have covered create, read. Let me mark update and delete as well. That covers our CRUD operations using React, Node.js, and WebSockets using socket.io.